The problem is, we don't see the world as it is. We see the world as we are. What I mean is, the way we perceive the world is based on our own evolutionary history, which is then modulated by our own anatomical limitations, and then formulated by our own cognitive processes, which are prone to error, biases, and distortions. Some more than others. To put it simply, when we see the world, and when I say see, I mean more than physically seeing, we don't see the world as it is. We see a construction of the world, which we have formed in our minds.
Now this is a very interesting claim for someone who wants to claim that I'm wrong. I mean, you just admitted that you don't see the world as it really is. And so if you don't see the world as it really is, then that means you don't understand my position as it really is. And if you don't understand my position as it really is, then that means you certainly can't refute it accurately. Yet that's what you're trying to do.
What this means is, truth is by its nature relative.
Are you sure about that? Is that absolutely true? See, maybe you just believe that based on your perception of reality, which is, according to you, prone to error, biases, and flaws.
The problem is, we don't see the world as it is. The way we perceive the world is based on our own evolutionary history, which are prone to error, biases, and distortions.
See, you know that this debate is about more than just our personal perceptions of reality. You want to claim that I'm actually wrong in a real sense. And here's what's happening when you do that. You believe that there's a standard of truth, an absolute truth, which my claims don't measure up to. And you believe that your claims come closer to that truth. Because if there was no absolute truth, then how could I possibly be wrong? All you can say is that my truth doesn't match your truth, or my perception of reality is different than yours. But if there is no absolute truth for them to be true about, then there's no way to measure which one comes closer to that truth. And so the only way for you to claim that I'm wrong is to appeal to a standard of truth which my claims don't stand up to. But of course, this is exactly what you're trying to deny, which leaves me in a good position. Heads I win, and tails you lose. I want to address something else you brought up. Alright, this is a little off topic, but it is related. I noticed that your YouTube cover states, "Are you good without God?" We are. And here you run into the same problem as before. You're good according to whom? I mean, Hitler thought that he was good. He killed millions of people, but if you asked him, according to his opinion, he was good. People today murder babies in the womb for money, and some of them think that they're actually doing good. So everyone's good according to their opinion, and if all you're saying is that you're good according to you, well, sure, I'm sure you are. But that's a meaningless claim. Now compare that to me as a Christian. I believe in a God who is good in his essence, and he created the world and owns it. And so we must adhere to his standard. He's the absolute standard of morality, which we're all measured to. Same thing goes with logic and reason. The only reason we know anything is because God has revealed himself to us. The only reason we have laws of logic, which are universal and unchanging, is because they're contingent on a universal and unchanging mind, the mind of God. So let me summarize this for you. Given your atheism, you have no foundation for logic and reason, or to know truth, and you have no foundation for morality. And so your only option really is to stop making truth claims and stop making moral claims. Actually, there is a third option. Third option is to repent and trust in Jesus. He can forgive you for everything you do wrong. Then you can actually be considered good, not because of anything you've done, but because of what he did. But of course, that would require you to admit that you aren't good and that you've fallen short of God's moral standard. On the plus side, you'll have a foundation for your worldview which will allow you to make sense of logic, truth, and morality in a coherent way. Because right now, you're borrowing these things from God while denying his existence. You're making truth claims while denying the existence of absolute truth. You're making moral claims while denying the existence of a moral standard. Atheism is a self-refuting worldview. I mean, if your own epistemology leads you to conclude that your view of reality is flawed and biased and prone to error, then doesn't that mean that your video response is biased and flawed and prone to error? I mean, think about it for a second, or a minute if you have to. It shouldn't take you long to realize that your own worldview is self-refuting. It's incoherent. Now, normally I don't do this, but I really like you, so I'm going to make you a special offer. I actually designed for you a new YouTube cover, since your other one was wrong, was false. I just refuted it. So I made you one free of charge. Take a look at it. I hope you like it. Is your view of reality flawed, biased, and distorted without God? Mine is. So I hope you like it. I know you agree with it, so that won't be a problem. I'm even willing to let you pick the colors. We can dress it up all nice and make it look really good. Kind of like your videos, you know? Your videos all sound really good and they've got nice colors and graphics and you even sound pretty smart. The only problem is when we look at your atheistic worldview, we can see that you don't have a coherent foundation for knowledge, truth, and morality. But that's just a minor issue, right? We can still dress it up and make it look pretty, right?